Did you know? Did you know that in the courts of heaven, the heavenly courts, you can request a restraining order? Just like you can request a restraining order in the terrestrial, right, the celestial terrestrial, in this physical 3D world, you can request a restraining order in the spirit realm in the courts of heaven as well. A divine restraining order is a kind of petition or request that we can present to God in the courts of heaven, and just as its name conveys, it is a legal restraint granted from God's courts against a person, party, entity, power, principality, or stronghold. It is for a particular time frame of God's choosing, and it can be granted for the span of time that the requester is living in an area. For example, when should a divine restraining order be requested? A divine restraining order should be requested when there is a persistent problem or issue that has come from a very powerful or persistent source, either in the spiritual or in the physical realm. In the spiritual realm, this would include principalities, strongholds, or demons, such as Leviathan, Jezebel, Mammon, Python, Baal, and their cohorts and minions and the networks underneath them. These demonic powers can also be operating through a specific person who is causing the harassment, so the divine restraining order may be requested against them too. Strongholds can also include territorial or regional principalities that rule over and operate out of a particular region. A region could be a town, a city, county, state, or a region within a state. These principalities are associated with specific conditions or areas of life. For example, there could be a regional spirit of poverty, crime, indebtedness, or violence. An example is a large retreat property, very outwardly beautiful, that had a spirit of murder on it. There were several incidents that demonstrated the spirit of murder. 3 people were killed on a retreat, the owner choosing premature death on account of a death wish. What? That's weird. A resident undergoing environmental poisoning that almost took him out. A murder stronghold was ruling over this property regardless of who was the owner of it. So a divine restraining order could be requested by or on behalf of the owner against the spirit. How or when to request a divine restraining order? Curses or demons sent out against you or a family member, that's when forces that are beyond our ability to personally control, such as territorial spirit or principality, which is the same thing as a stronghold. This is because the people who live in that region continue to act in ways that are feeding that spirit. Therefore, it doesn't stop. We cannot control the choices and actions of the population, but we can request our own relief and protection from territorial spirits. Right? That makes sense. So, forces that you can't control, such as the people who live in that region, area, remember, area, state, region, county, town, etc., continue to act in ways that are feeding this, alter the spirit, and so therefore you have no control over that force operating, and so you can get a restraining order. A problem or party that is so big or powerful and you need help, that's another time when you get a restraining order. Family issues, a deep ancestral curse like premature or violent death, attacks from someone, behavioral or spiritual attacks from a troubled person, someone who's harassing you, a territorial spirit which is went over to protect yourself, your community, or your neighborhood, and a principality that governs your country. A principality is a stronghold, right? God's word contains everything we need to present a compelling case to him in the courts of heaven, because his word is his law and his promises to us is his justice. Therefore, we present sacred scriptures that are relevant to the case. that we are bringing before him just as an attorney or a lawyer presents settled law or cases to convince the judge to rule in his or her favor. There is spiritual power to God's word and a credibility, and so we declare God's word out loud, and it strengthens our spirit and builds our confidence. We are presenting and declaring God's laws, his relationship with us, and his covenant promises to us. So when we declare God's word out loud, it strengthens our spirit and builds our confidence and faith. A restraining order is basically to limit the actions of that demon or spirit or person, to put a boundary around you and to keep you safe and to protect you. Why? Because God always wants to keep his children protected and safe. So these following are the scriptures that you would speak while you are in the courts of heaven before you present your case and ask for this divine restraining order. And I'll post those in the description box.